I want to thank you all for coming out to celebrate the Super Bowl 46 World Champions. He's been on the sideline, rain, sleet, or snow. Colonel Gadson.
Congratulations. How about that, huh? Two of them. You got two.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Greg.
It was just another week in the life of Colonel Greg Gadson. Visit New York, collect a second Super Bowl ring, join Brooklyn Decker to promote your first feature film, Battleship, directed by Peter Berg.
He was clearly a guy that is looking to challenge himself. And we both loved the Giants, so there was no question he was going to wear a Giants hat in the movie. One thing that did happen early on in the shooting that was kind of the defining moment of our experience with Greg. We were filming Greg, and he had to walk across the stage, and Liam Neeson presented him with a medal, and he got about 10 steps in. This was in front of 1,000 people. He slipped, and his leg snapped, and he fell flat down on his face, hard. And I came charging up. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Hey, man, it happens."
Any general would be proud of Greg Gadson's perseverance, one of the many outstanding qualities he developed during his 4-year football career at West Point.
He was a leader.
The tight end was my side, the outside release.
I mean, I was a role player, as a special teams guy, yet he was always
You guys doing great. Keep coming.
finding a way to motivate me, motivate scout teams, motivate the other starters, and help the team win.
And he is dropped. Oh, what a terrific play by Greg Gadson.
You play and you play to leave it all out on the field. If you don't, then you cheat yourself and you cheat everyone else that's out there with you. We're trained to be future leaders in the Army, and should we have to go to war, then that's what we have to do. Leave it all out there for our people, for our country, and that's what it's all about.
We hadn't stayed in great contact. We had seen each other at golf outings and reunions at West Point.
Mike Sullivan.
And it was early 2007. I'm coaching receivers for the Giants. And out of the blue, I get a phone call. It's Greg Gadson. He said, "I'm on my way to go command a battalion in Iraq, and I just want you to know, though, I'm very proud of all that you've accomplished as a coach." And it caught me off guard. I'm thinking, holy, this is nothing. You're going out, protecting our way of life. You're the one that's doing something that's important. You're the one that inspires me.
I appreciate you guys are outstanding. I mean,
we appreciate what you guys are doing. You guys are outstanding.
And little did I know, 4 months later, I would be wounded, and he would ultimately come and visit me at Walter Reed.
He had looked as though he'd suffered a great deal. I mean, he'd been through a horrific experience, and it was very saddening to see him. But then he gives me the biggest hug, and I give him a hug, and he had such a great spirit that it was a horrible event. It happened, but he was going to push on. Upon coming back to New York, things started off pretty rough for us. We lost our first 2 games, and we were getting ready to go down to Washington. I shared the information about Greg with Coach Coughlin, and he felt it would help the team to meet Colonel Greg Gadson.
And I remember my wife asking me, what was I going to say? And I was like, I don't know. I was starting to get pretty nervous.
Everyone was like this, and they hung on every word. And he shared the story about how his life was saved.
On the night of May 7th of 2007, I had actually attended a memorial service for 2 soldiers who had been killed in a sister battalion from my brigade at Fort Riley when my vehicle was struck by an IED. One of my teammates, Will Huff, War number 78, was in Baghdad at the time, and he flew with me to Germany. I don't remember any of that, but I know he told me that he talked to me and kept encouraged me to live.
Gadson!
You really understood what it was like not just to be a West Pointer, but being a football player and how profound a team can be.
I think that's just kind of the message that everybody took that next day and said, hey, good, bad, whatever situation we can get in, we're all going to be there for each other.
4th and goal at the 1. Calling signals. Takes the snap, hand off left for Batson. He's tripped up and stopped short. They're going to win the ball game. 1, 2, 3,
Greg's moving to Jersey.
Gadson would not attend another Giants game that season until their wild card playoff in Tampa.
Thanks for being here, bro.
10 days later, Gadson was in the hospital, recovering from a surgery, when Tom Coughlin invited him to be the Giants' honorary captain at the upcoming NFC Championship.
I just said yes, and I remember kind of getting a hold of my doctor and said, look, I'm going to this game whether you discharge me or not.
This was in Green Bay, that playoff game, the championship game 2007, which was miserable, cold, and awful. I can remember a lot of us saying, how are we going to play football in weather like this?
A couple folks were going to take me up to a suite, you know, to get out of the weather.
He didn't want to go. He's, you know, he said, I want to be with the troops.
If you came off the sideline and you're breathing heavy and you're thinking, oh man, this is a tough game, you just looked over there and you saw his spirit. And you're thinking to yourself, how can I say that I'm hurt or injured or tired? How could I not have any fight in me?
That was beautiful. Have you touched it yet? That's what it feels like.
The first Giants practice Gadson ever attended was during New York's preparation for the Super Bowl, before he was invited to speak to the team one more time.
Back in September, when I first had a chance to address you all, I wasn't one of you. Now I really feel like I'm a teammate. I want to thank every one of you.
And I told him this. If I could be anywhere in the world right now, it would be back with my unit in Iraq. I know that's not going to happen, but
I was going to battle. There's not one of you here I would not take it. I swear to God.
I would take every single one of them with me because they'd become that close. They bonded so much as a team, and I saw that before my eyes.
Here we are, the last chapter. We're going to do what it takes to win. I believe that. Belief is that powerful. When I was laying down, those guys were freaking doing all the things that I never believed that I would not live. And that's what belief will do for you. That's all I got.
Now wounded in, we gotta bleed. We got plenty of time. 17-14 is the final, okay? 17-14, fellas. One touchdown, we are world champions. Believe it, and it will happen.
Touchdown Giants! The New York Giants have knocked off the New England Patriots with the most improbable win in recent memory.
You know, can you imagine what he's been through and what he sacrificed for us? Yet the attitude that he has about life, I knew from the first minute that I met him that he's a very, very special man.
This is something else, man.
It was at Tiffany's there in Manhattan. It was the same time that the players and the coaches got their rings, he got his ring, and he wanted to walk up and get it. My mind flashed from when I first saw him in that bed, in a lot of physical pain, to getting a Super Bowl ring in around a year's time. It warmed my heart.
It's a nice reminder. It's a beautiful ring. I don't want to give it back, but But
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
really, they gave me a sense of belonging
Fun practice today.
that I had lost after I was wounded. As small as it was, I had a role.
Stay upbeat. This is the fight.
And it was really powerful. It gave me the ability to find what was going to be next for me, that I could continue to serve, that I still could make a contribution.
Colonel Greg Gadson quickly moved from the role of patient at Walter Reed Army Medical Center to the role of director of the Army's Wounded Warrior Program. And now he's taking over at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, as the first wounded warrior to command an Army post.
Very few people get to command at that level in the Army. What he's going through still today is very difficult. But, you know, leading, again, it's leading by example. What better way to lead by example is overcoming adversity and being able to continue to lead men and women, and that's what we want him to do.
Are they ready to go?
Yeah, they are, you know.
It's amazing. That's the same guy I met in 1985, same guy that was a practical joker that he's going scuba diving. I said, really? He said, yeah, it's in shark-infested waters. And I said, geez, Craig, what are you doing? He says, what am I worried about? Are you gonna bite my legs off?
Hey.
He's a rock star.
How you doing, man? You having a good night?
Yeah, I sure am.
Classmates call him Forrest Gump because he's all over the place. Actually was able to wheel him out before this Super Bowl. He was great for me. I mean, I could be a nervous wreck before games, and he was tremendous, and he really helped me as a coach.
Throws one left, touchdown Giants, and the Giants have finished off the Patriots in the Super Bowl for the second time in 4 years.
You think about holding that Lombardi trophy and being a part of it was really special.
You know, life continues on, but I couldn't have done it without you all.
I'm glad because it's two-way then. We couldn't have done it without you either. So, twice.
I'm just so blessed that my path, it wasn't the one I envisioned, but it brought me here.